Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you so much for being here at USA Global TV and Radio, where we provide world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and it's my absolute pleasure and honor to be here today on our show, Coexistence and Sustainability with Pet Psychic AMINAH. Our topic today is kind of a fun one. It's Barkitects. You've heard of architects? Barkitects, solving canine challenges. Here to help us go through this process is someone who is a professional trainer. That's right. Pet Psychic AMINAH does more than talk to the animals and listen to the animals, but she is a public speaker. She is also a certified trainer, and she has so many areas that she can assist you with your pets. Let's welcome her to the show. Welcome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
How is sunny California today?
Sunny?
Sunny. I like this.
Well, and we got a little rain, so cleared, enough to wash the cars.
Well, sometimes the dusting of rain is better than none because, as we know, the earth needs it.
Absolutely. And we've been lucky this year. We've gotten more than normal, and we absolutely needed it. I'm very fortunate to live in the mountain areas of a valley that I live in. Technically, I live in a valley with hills on the side, and all this rain has just been beautiful. Just absolutely neat to see the wildflowers come out on their own and the green coming out. I know the fire department's not going to be happy with it in about 6 months, so they'll come in to cut it all back.
You'll enjoy it for now.
Right.
So Pet Psychic AMINAH, as you and I both know, you've been with me since the very beginning, and our show was called Pet Psychic AMINAH. And now it's Coexistence and Sustainability. So again, there are always new people joining us. A big welcome to our new friends on Instagram, and also to our audio only people who are listening, and to our loyal fans and followers around the world. Tell us a little bit about why coexistence and sustainability is so important to you.
Well, staying in the animal genre is just hoping that I can start a seed in your mind, start a seed in your heart, because so much of dealing with other humans, people, animals, nature, trees, whatever that is for you. Some people are passionate about plants. Some people are passionate about animals. Some people are passionate about medicine. Whatever your passion is, I hope that you'll widen your gaze into understanding that because somebody does it differently doesn't make it wrong. Let me use a really different kind of example. There are MDs that are absolutely fabulous at what they do and wonderful getting us well, but they're not the only game that gets us well. There's acupuncture, there is meditation, there is, if you're me, you go and hug a pet and plant a few thousand plants, and the bad day has gone away. Be aware that there's no box. There's no box that you have to stay in to say, I'm normal, or I can get past this, or this challenge, whatever it is. If it's a death in your family, God forbid, a divorce or a loss of a pet, these really, really challenge us. And I'm here to support and give you those out of the side box ones. So please go back and look at so many things that Dr. Jacalyn and I have covered, of just saying, have you thought about doing it this way? And that's something I love to do.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing that. And in addition, you know all about training pets. And of course, I would think training a dog might be different than training a chimpanzee. But our title today is Barkitects, which I think is kind of cool because you know what an architect does.
Yep.
What comes to mind when you think of the word Barkitect?
A lot of barking. A lot of bark. Because what is the one thing that every neighbor hates about the other person's pet? The barking. If we're talking dogs, it is the barking. I talk about, I live in a condo, and I'm actually in like a V shape with all the garages in the back. And this poor dog, luckily he's quiet right now, but this poor dog, since they moved in, which is only probably under 6 months ago, they moved in. And the only reason I know that is because the dog started barking as soon as they moved in. And it's a big dog. And why can I tell that? I can tell by the timbre of the bark, because I haven't actually seen this dog ever. We don't have yards. We have patios and decks. And this poor puppy is very large. You can tell by the bark. And he is alone all day long because we all get to listen to it. And right now it sounds like he's asleep, because he does do the sleepy thing eventually. But poor baby, he's there all by himself. Can you do something about it? Absolutely. There are doggy daycares, there's pet daycares. They're very hot and happening, and have been almost, I don't want to say 10 years, but they were really just popping up then. So look in your town, look at where you are. If you can, think about hiring a high school kid or your neighbor's kid or somebody you can trust with your house keys, and have them come after school, because that's going to be like 3 hours, 4 hours before you get off work if you do the 8 to 5. And have them stop by, have them take them for a walk, have them at least sit there and watch cartoons with them. Because with canines specifically, cats not so much, it's having somebody there that loves them, that's going to be there, that keeps them calm. It'll be great for the long term, not only your neighbors, but also the health of your pet.
Standing. Thank you for that. And I just wanted to ask you, when it comes to barking, does barking always signify that there's something wrong? Can barking be like happy barking, like singing, or is it typically, hey, look out, or wow, something's going on, or I'm not happy?
It is their vocal way of communicating. So yes, it can mean everything. I have seen dogs whine when they're so excited that they're just over the top excited, and then and then guess what else happens? They usually pee. They usually have an accident together, because they have what is actually manifesting as more stress, and just really stressful, and going, oh, I'm sorry. I don't know, if I don't really want my pets being on the floor or on my foot, or every time we go for a walk and they see their favorite other person with their dog, and that is not what should happen. So again, it's about training. And what does that mean? Is maybe you meet one fabulous loving person that has a dog, and you guys get a little bit more in. Don't go to 5 dogs. Don't do that. don't go to 2 dogs. Don't go to 4 cats. We've actually babysat some of our friends' pets. And so we brought in cats that our other cats are like, oh man, did we get another sibling? And it's like, no, this one's temporary. It'll be for a week. But never, ever leave your pets alone with minors of any age, in any child at all. And until you absolutely know enough about that pet, and it can be your pet, it can be one you just adopted, never leave children alone with pets. It's a duality. It's not just that the pet might bite the child. It might be the child is inappropriate, pulling tails, pulling hair. You don't see what you don't see. And then you blame the pet, and the pet gets put back to the shelter. And then you wonder why the third cat happened and the fourth cat happened. You can't seem to get pets in because you're not seeing something that the child is doing. And it could be just as subtle as taking a pencil and poking the animal. Well, nobody wants that. So be aware, everybody has culpability in not understanding what the other needs and or where the boundary is. I know for every cat I've ever worked with or dealt with, I haven't seen this in dogs as much, but with cats, do not pull their tail. Do not. We actually adopted a cat that had a tail that he drug along because the people who had him before had a small child and pulled the tail to get the cat to come back to him and literally severed the nerve. So the tail never wagged again, which is part of their entire conversation with a cat, is to talk with their tail.
Wow, that sounds so sad and unnecessary.
Thank you. Unnecessary. These are preemptive. It's the same thing. Are you going to leave a matchbox next to your kid and say, hey, see you in 15 minutes when I get done with this meeting, if you're working from home or not? You wouldn't do that. So why would you take a carnivore or a herbivore or any boars and leave them alone with a child who hasn't got the maturity and the time in life to have the experience that you should know better? That's our entire point as adults, right? When you had your puppies and they were with you, I'm sure you did not wait till the children of your neighborhood, if the grandchildren and all that came to visit, and you let them loose and say, hey, go play with those random children. You wouldn't do that.
No, absolutely
Right.
not. It's like when you read stories about a child picks up a handgun. People have
Oh.
handguns at their house, and then I mean, I don't
And
even
somebody
know.
accidentally got shot, and I'm thinking, why is it loaded?
Right.
I mean, it's
Exactly.
one thing to have a handgun, and everybody should have that choice. But there's gun cabinets, there's locking it behind things, there's things that a child cannot get to without you having specifically said, hey, here's the key. You ever need the gun? Here's the key. Well, don't do that.
Right. I want to talk about large dogs or even small dogs that may have a certain discipline for appearing menacing, for example. I don't know if that's a defense mechanism. And I know certain breeds of dogs, I can't think of the names, but they're actually, uh, there have been a number of incidents where they've attacked people. What are the dogs? Bulldog? No. I can't think of what it's called. But anyway, the question I have for you is when you think about training your pet, does it matter what size or breed the pet is, or can all pets be trained, dogs, I should say, be trained in basically the same way?
Canines in general are very similar in their thought process and in their way they go through. They got four legs, usually. They got a tail of any size, usually. I mean, there's lots of people that crop, and we're not going to have that at this show. So talking about dogs, you're going to get all those colors. But what I really want everybody to hear is you're also going to get every personality under the sun and every other personality that you never knew existed. It is the same as talking to people. You and I, let's say we went to the same college. We have we're the fifth child in our family, or I join you and I'm the only one in the family. And you know what I mean? We line up our family experiences, but they're not going to be the same. Our parents are still going to do a few things differently. Or maybe when you come home from school, you're allowed to have a popsicle or you're allowed to have a candy bar, where the other family is like, no, you got to have a piece of carrot, or, you got to have a salad or something else. Each one of us, the same with animals. Your digestion is different. The way you see the world is different. Your experience with your parents is different. I am, as everybody knows who's heard this, I am the youngest 5 children my parents had. And my parents, night and day experience. My mom was raised very wealthy, almost an only child. Her brother was born like 10 years later. And my dad was the second oldest of 7. Totally different experience. we were, all of us, night and day difference, 5 siblings, same exact parents, but we were different. Your pets are the same. They need to be met where they are at. If you have an animal that's constantly peeing on the couch or constantly pooping on the place you don't want, then there's your creative moment to get a hold of a trainer. If you don't want or don't have the time or the energy to train them, there are plenty of trainers that will do that. Now, you'll have to learn those traits to reinforce them when the trainer's not in your home. Same thing when you send your children to school. If you find, oh, Miss so-and-so is fabulous, but Mr. So-and-so is not fabulous, or vice versa, whatever that is, find out why. Because every moment that you just fix it or ignore it, or whatever your version of getting past a difficult training with your animal, that relationship doesn't grow. If you have a dog that is constantly, I don't know, chewing on his toes, that's a vet visit, because obviously his toes bother them and he itches, something, contact, whatever, but that's for a vet visit. So the same thing is, meet your pets where you find them, and then work either with a trainer and or do this kind of thing. There's tons of YouTubes of all of us sharing as much information we can so you can handle things at home. And there's tons of books of creative ways you can say, wait a minute, let's do this differently. For when I was training our shepherds, we had 2 at one point, and peanut butter, best stuff everywhere. I don't know about everybody else, but we have it in the house. It just kind of lives here. It's a great sandwich thing. It's great for crackers, all that kind of stuff. And we're not feeding our pets this stuff. I'm not feeding them cheese. I'm giving them a piece. I'm giving them a little peanut butter on my finger or on a little bit of a teaspoon. Yes, we're going to wash the spoon afterwards. So it gets the focus back on me while I'm trying to teach a new concept. For the shepherds we had, it was about do not jump on people, because my kids were really young, and if a shepherd would have jumped on them, they'd knock their head on the sidewalk and it would be catastrophe, and my poor kid would be slaughtered and then licked to death at the same time. These are the things you have to preempt. These are the things you have to see, especially before you adopt. If you can foster, if you can figure out what works best for you, do it. Fostering is so vital for those pets that are living in shelters and not in a home. It doesn't mean you have to adopt them. Failed things like this happen all the time. People end up adopting them, but you'll learn a lot. And hopefully the shelter will help you learn how to handle your pet and how to get them to not pee on the carpet and not chew on the couch.
Absolutely. And, we see a number of ads on television, or used to be on television, where you see a pet that looks like it's been completely abused. And people will adopt pets like this, especially dogs. What do you need to know before you adopt a pet that's been abused?
Well, I have actually adopted a horse and a lizard and a bird and cats and all that. So each type of animal looks at the world differently and comes at it differently. Dogs and cats typically touch everything with their mouth and their paws. Those are their sensory places. They're going to, of course, smell things. Dogs are really great at that. Cats are a little more subtle about it, but they're doing the same thing. So when you know this, and if you don't, you go read the library, the books, whatever, Google it, videos, all of that. Be prepared, because then you've got to deal with the personality and what do they like doing and what did they not like doing. There are actually horses that you cannot get up on both sides of the saddle with them, because they don't like it and they'll buck or move or whatever. there's the weirdest things happen with animals, and you're just like, what? But that's the part of the relationship that you've got to tune into. If your animal, let's say every dog on the planet, except for yours, loves peanut butter. It's the bee's knees, and you get so many trainings, they take a little lick and they're back to focusing with you. And then where's the pet that all of a sudden has little red spots on their paws and they're chewing their paws? That's a typical reaction to some kind of contact with an allergen that their body does. So you have to approach their personality the same way. Find out what it is. When you're teaching a concept, it's great to give them a little bit of peanut butter. I mean, a little, like a teaspoon, not a whole teaspoon, a little bit, and let them lick it off and go, oh, Mom's going to give us that great stuff. Not feeding them, just getting them to refocus on you. You'll get to the point where those things go away. And now it's just your voice. And it could be your happy voice, your sad voice, your, what are you doing voice? I do it with our cats all the time. But again, our cats have been with us for years now. And we tap on the table and say, oh, you sure you want to do that? Because I don't think you should. And all of those types of things. Start slow. Be kind to yourself, but also realize this is a relationship you want to foster in health. So corporal punishment is not something I recommend for anybody. Is it necessary maybe once or twice or something to tap your animal on the mouth and say, we did this with our last kitten when we got her. And she came from another home that they couldn't handle her. So we would tap her on the mouth or the butt if I couldn't reach it. And she just thought that was really uncomfortable. And I mean, just tap, 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 tap. So on the cat, she's like, no, don't do that. It interrupts the mental things going on about, oh, I must kill that ball. I must, whatever it is. You just want to interrupt that thought and get them on a different path.
What was that one voice you did? That was, are you sure you want to do that voice? That was funny.
Well, and it works because animals are all about body language and tone of voice. They are the experts. That's how they get through their world. I mean, think about a horse. Sure, it whinnies. It can stomp its feet. But have you seen it just wiggle its little skin? It's not just to remove the flies.
Saying something.
Yeah. There's a lot going on there. And yes, it literally gets the flies to get off of them, but hopefully you're also helping brushing them and that type of stuff. And if a horse stomps his foot, have you seen a horse's hoof? It hurts. I've been stepped on.
Get out of the way.
Yeah, get out of the way because something ticked him off or her off. Because a stomping foot, even a cat, even a dog. Oh, rabbits are famous for this. Their back feet are super, super springy, and that's how they get going. The front one's just for leverage. That's just
They're just hanging out there.
That's the bumper of the car there. It's just ornamental for something. But rabbits will tell you when they're angry, and they will hit that back feet on the surface wherever they are, and they'll make it as loud as possible. And they'll keep doing it if you don't listen. So if your rabbit stops slapping his feet on the cage or the bottom or whatever, walk away.
Run. You might have to run if necessary.
Well, because they can run really fast too, but technically it's hopping. But people don't. The people that get pets that shouldn't or should foster or have some support are not seeing any of these cues. If you and I are talking and you start looking around or start filling out paperwork, I'm going to go, well, I'm boring the heck out of her, so I should stop talking. We both have, you and I are public speakers. So we can hold a very, very long conversation and stuff, but we also know how to look at cues. That's why you and I think are, and all your other show hosts are so successful on this platform is not only because, first and foremost, the way you've set it up, the way we all feel included and loved and heard, but also we are able to really get the emotions across from a screen.
Yeah.
And that's success. So take that, Dr. Jacalyn, next time you decide to adopt some kids, little fuzzy kids, but you're too busy. Anyways, if you
not a lot of
slaughter,
time for kids, but I do want to talk about another topic, which we're kind of leading into, which is how pets communicate, or animals communicate with each other. And something that I noticed I thought was really interesting when we had the plethora, I'm going to say, of iguanas here. What I would see that was so cool is you'd have an iguana going up one side of the palm tree and a squirrel coming down the other. And they might switch places, but they never like, hey, dude, my tree over there, get out.
My
Some
tree.
kind of understanding between them.
Absolutely, because they're coexisting. The best way you just described it, this is coexisting in wildlife. They don't eat each other. They don't necessarily eat the same things, very similar things. And they are of the mindset most of the time, because again, it's natural, it's just native. This is not like they studied it in science class, is they all know that they get there together with food sources and all of that type of stuff. So in the animal kingdom, it's the healthiest ones that get fed first, because they can get to it, whatever the food is. Then if you've got two healthy ones and they're both going down, well, they want to kind of stay that way. And they are not seeing each other as food, because they're vegetarians and eating nuts and that type of stuff. They might eat a bug, but not each other. So if that was a python going up your tree, because you have those, yeah, those two animals, the squirrel and the other one, is just, they're going to be jumping off the tree. The snake will eat them. The snake will look at them like, ooh, free food. Look, it came to my door.
So the snake is a whole other.
Snake is a whole other thing, because it's a true carnivore. And we've all seen, especially in your neck of the woods, you seen that lump? Somebody already got swallowed.
Something got
and
it.
it's
Yeah,
just getting digested.
Yeah.
It's kind of gross if you think about it.
You know, I thought of you the other day. I hate to even bring this up, but I was working, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw something. I was like, please do not let it be what I think it is. And of course it was, I'm not kidding you. I'm going to say this big, a palmetto bug. So I looked up the difference between a roach and a palmetto bug. And I think it falls into the category. And this thing was big. I mean, big. And I did the only thing I could. I'm sorry.
2 inches, 3 inches,
It
4 inches.
It was about 2.5 inches. And I said to it, I said, listen, it's
was
not
he in the house?
He was in the house. He was in the house.
Broke the rules.
He broke the rules, and there was no so I just want to let you know this. I had to break my vow, and I had to just.
So was there a funeral, or we just squished him and
this is what I want you to know. It's still there.
You didn't kill him?
I killed it, and I put a paper towel over it, and I keep walking past it because I don't know what to do with it. I'm just traumatized.
Well, if it hasn't moved in a few days, it's a goner.
But I don't know. It might not even be there because the paper towel is, I don't know.
Well, but if the bug's still there, let me give you a little Frankenstein truth here. If you don't remove that bug, you are inviting the next one who eats that bug.
Oh, I thought something's going to come for it.
You are doing more harm than good, because even if it's not a big thing that eats the bug, because they don't want it dead, they want it fresh. You're going to have ants, and you remember how having ants in your house is like.
What am I? So how do I get rid of it?
You pick it up with. You know what I would suggest? Wait. Picking it up. I would suggest you go to a toy store, or a dollar store would even be better, and buy a child's shovel. You know, a child's shovel. What about a dustpan? You could do the dustpan. And if you don't want to pick it up with the paper or anything like that, you get the little broom, and you get the little scoop. And that's why I'm saying you can take the side of your shoe and not throw your shoes away. Just, wash them later or something. But find something like a broom or something that you push it into some kind of thing. And it could be a styrofoam cup. We had a styrofoam cup like that was a part of a set, and this was the only one we had left after something. I kept it so that I could pick this. Now I'm picking up live spiders, and I put the paper, I get the bug, whatever it is, into the cup, and then I put a piece of paper or something stiff that I can make sure they don't get out, and I take it outside and I drop it. Now, if I drop the cup, that's fine. I wait till the spider goes out and I come back and get the cup. But I have had those plastic silo cups, and it's just like, we don't drink out of them anymore. So it's a good size. So does that make sense? And then you just get a piece. I wouldn't get a piece of paper because for you, that might not be secure enough. So get a Rubbermaid lid or something that you can get up and you can just wash it. Because I know you're going to want to wash it or throw it away.
I didn't want to share anything, but I think a leg came off. So
well, then he's very dead.
I'm not, but I think what I'm going to do is, here's my plan. Are you ready?
Okay.
I'm going to put on 2 oven mitts. And I'm going to the dustpan. I'm going to take my body away from the scene. I'm going to slowly up against the wall, not even look. I'm going to gently go towards the door and fling it outside.
There you go. Okay. Fling away. And when you pick a windy day and it blows right back in your you're going to tell us because you're so honest.
I need
we're all going to say, oh, what I would have given that for a blooper.
Maybe I'll film it. That would be something.
Oh, yeah. Here's the camera. Here's me, Scooshy. Yeah, I'd like to see how many arms and legs you got. I mean, some people are great with their toes, but you don't even want to be near the bug. So
I don't want to be
that's what I'm saying. The brooms you can get. But
it might get stuck in there, and then I can't use the broom again.
Well, that's why you have to get it won't get stuck in there if you leave it outside, right? And then just hit it against the sidewalk. All the bugs, legs, stuff go with it.
All right, I'm gonna talking myself into it.
You can just again buy a little hand sweepy thing in the dustpan, take it outside, there off it goes. Small is easier than get it lost in a big thing. Yeah. And then you, of course, look like you're starting a homeless camp because you keep leaving body parts of animals and brooms outside.
And the thought, just what you mentioned.
I've never met anybody, but I've heard people who buy brooms and then they have to sweep up a bug or a cockroach, God forbid, or whatever, and they won't touch it. So it leaves, it goes outside their home for the rest of its life.
Now that you mention it, we do have a few brooms in the garage. I wonder if that's what happened with my mom. I don't know. And as we're speaking right now, we have a visitor on the roof. I thought they were all gone, but apparently not. So it is about coexistence, I think. And there have to be boundaries as well, because would you like just to describe a little bit between coexisting and then when something is a nuisance?
Well, a nuisance is obviously something where, God forbid, you've got some kind of creature eating your couch, chewing on your shoelaces, hanging out and sleeping in your shoes, or just a contact where there's zero between you and this entity, whatever. It's a bug, it's a bird. Some of us have experienced having birds fly into our homes. And then they just go around and hit every window possible. And it's heartbreaking to watch because they will literally break their neck trying to get out. So my recommendation is, of course, shut all the blinds, see if you can get the bird to calm down, and throw a blanket over it. Because then you can safely, for yourself and the bird, it blinds them and gets them to start to calm down. And then you can take them outside, open the towel, just put it on out or open it, whichever. Just make sure it opens when you do drop it, if that's the way you decide to handle it. It can be that simple. It can be that simple. You can get an old jar, small, big, plastic, glass, whatever. I always recommend plastic because it's easier to handle. It's not as heavy. And you could put a little, like, I don't know, maybe you've got a cricket or a big spider or something, and you don't want anything to do with it. Leave a little food or something that attracts them. Sometimes it's honey, sometimes it's egg yolk. Just, you can Google that. And they go in the jar. Guess what? and you put the lid on, you take it outside, you take the lid off, and you leave the jar out there until he walks away. It can be that simple.
Once again, providing excellent information for our viewers and also for our listeners. I'd love to have you just share a few tips. You've mentioned peanut butter, you've mentioned the dollar store. What if you have a pet that really is just not going with the program? Do you give it a timeout? Go sit in the corner. I'll deal with you later. Go in your cage for 8 hours. What do you suggest?
Well, definitely not the 8 hours.
Okay.
Because like us, and I know you meant it tongue in cheek, but I want to address anybody who thinks this is a real thing. No, it's not a real thing, because think about yourself. Could you possibly tuck your legs in and your head in and lay down even on your mattress? I don't want you. I don't really sleep 8 hours at night. Sometimes, yes. Sometimes I'm exhausted and I can. Sometimes I've got too much on my mind and I can't calm down. Animals are the same. Animals are the same. Birds are confined because they fly all over and drop, feathers and stuff like that. Some people allow their birds to fly around, especially when they're home. The problem is they don't have diapers for birds, at least not that I'm aware. So you're gonna get messes wherever you are. Know what you're willing to put up with and tolerate and train and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And or don't have a pet, or don't have this type of pet. A dog needs to be walked, needs to be walked. It is part of their health, and it'll be great for you to get out and walk. Is a cat want to go for a walk with you? Most don't. I've had some of my cats walk a few when we had them outdoors. This was a long time ago. And they'd walk with me for three blocks. And I'm thinking, okay, this makes me nervous because I don't really want you down here. And I'd carry them back. Be realistic with yourself. Be realistic on what you're willing and are capable of maintaining and doing. Because you might be willing to do it once, might be willing to do it 5 times. After that, not so much. A lot of people don't realize when they get dogs, they need to train them. They need to have them a part of their pack, part of their family. That's how dogs survive. They are pack animals. But it also means you need to take them to the vet. You need to get them spayed and neutered. We've got way too many pets. And you have got to pick up the poop. Nobody else is going to do it. And it is not biodegradable. A lot of people don't know this. Dog feces, specifically. I'm not talking about cats right now. It's a 50-50 chance with them, depending on what you're feeding your dog and your cat. If it is all organic and it is all vegetables and meat and things that you buy in the store, if it's none of those and you're doing dog food dry, cat food wet and dry, that's from a store for cats, I'm not saying it's not nutritious at all, but you're not going to see the biodegradation that you would a wild animal who's eating wild stuff. So don't expect that you're going to go walk in a park and say, oh, it's no big deal. It's going to rain tonight and the poop will be gone. Yeah, nope. Not before somebody steps in it, not before it doesn't biodegrade, because it's got so many preservatives in that food, in those places. So change the way you're doing things as far as training. If you're sending your dog out, and I've seen it, we've all seen it, somebody just lets their dog out their house and then the dog comes back and they take no responsibility for where they left their feces. It's not okay.
It's not cool.
It's not sanitary. It's not safe. You're asking for bugs and all kinds of things to go into the poop to try to process it. And you won't even see half of those bugs because they don't even want the poop.
Right.
You can't use it for fertilizer. Why can we use horse and cow for fertilizer for their poop? Because they eat greenery.
Be healthy.
And they chew it all up. They got a couple of rumen tummies and they're chewing it up and they're getting the enzymes in there and all that great stuff. They poop it out and then somebody cleans it and sells it to you.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But you cannot do that with pets. You cannot. It's not possible.
Let's summarize. If you have a dead bug in your house, You can pick it up. Yeah, good.
Yes,
If you have dog feces, pick it up.
absolutely.
Don't leave these things around because they attract other things, and it's also
Absolutely.
unhealthy.
Absolutely. If you want to stay healthy, if you want to do the bare minimum, whatever, handle your dog's feces. Handle where they get to go to the bathroom. All of those things, because just think, if our bathrooms, our personal toilet areas were covered in dirt and smoke and dust, and you wore your shoes in and you tramped the inside into the outside, and then you thought taking a shower was enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, because you didn't wash the towels. Oh, I don't
Right.
need to. I'm a clean person. It's on a clean body.
Yeah.
That's not a permanent situation.
Think
You
again.
have to clean.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
animals are the same. You've got to acknowledge that they deserve a clean bed, a clean place, safe place where they can sleep well, and healthy food that also makes their body do better. I'll tell you, you'll have a lot less medical visits. It will be cheaper to get good food, even if it's a little more expensive, and take them for a walk. We have with the cats, we don't take them for a walk. They're full time indoor, but we have laser lights. All we need is one little light. I can sit anywhere and go like this and run the cat out.
Yeah.
Especially if they're picking on each other and they're bored. We get those things out. We get a string. We get absolutely a string. And our cat's favorite,
Yes.
receipts.
Receipts. They're counting up how
They're
much you're
free.
spending. I love it.
You already paid for it with whatever you bought. And a lot of people are getting away from receipts. But literally, did you hear that noise?
Yeah,
I got 3 cats going, ooh, what you got?
it has a dual purpose. Absolutely.
It does.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for another fabulous episode here today on coexistence and sustainability with Pet Psychic AMINAH. We will be back next Friday. What's the best way for people to reach out to you?
bridgingworlds.us is all about my resume and the contact and the email and all that. And before we go, I want you to see my new plant. Is this the most beautiful tiny little flowers ever?
Beautiful.
This is what's getting new pots today, but this is what I practice, what I preach. I find this helpful and wonderful, and working with Dr. Jacalyn is also healthy and wonderful to be able to share my life of not only my college education, but my one-on-one work with animals.
Thank you so much, Pet Psychic AMINAH. It's always a pleasure to see you, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. And thank you to our sponsors. Let's hear from them now. We'll be back soon. Bye.
Bye.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents our partner and sponsor, Mr. Philip Sykes and the British School of Excellence. Building confidence, changing lives. And now, proudly presenting the Polished Professional.
On a transformative journey with the British School of Excellence's comprehensive suite of masterclasses, crafted to elevate your professional and personal life. 8 outstanding modules will elevate you to the next level. Module 1, Exploring Life's Purpose, delves into the depths of self-discovery, guiding you to chart your unique path to fulfillment and success. Module 2, Mastering Professional Presence and Confidence. This masterclass is a deep dive into the art of self-assurance and commanding presence, which is essential for standing out in today's competitive landscape. Module 3, Learn the secrets of visual impact, how to curate a personal style that amplifies your professional brand. Module 4, Mastering Professional Etiquette and Communication Excellence, navigating the nuances of corporate interaction with grace and tact. Module 5, Elegance in Eloquence. We impart powerful techniques to captivate and persuade any audience with your oratory skills. Module 6, Unlock the potential of your emotional intelligence, EQ, and harness the ability to connect, empathize, and lead with emotional savvy. Module 7, Mastering DISC, building a gateway to understanding behavioral styles, fostering better personal and professional relationships. Module 8, Mastery in Dining Etiquette, building your confidence to perfect the subtleties of dining with finesse, enhancing your social savviness at any table. Step into the Polished Professional program where poise, elegance, and excellence aren't just taught, they're instilled for life. Join us to redefine your potential and polish your professional edge.
To learn more, go to thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. The British School of Excellence are investors in people. Let us invest in you. This program has been brought to you in part by Zane Carson Carruth, etiquette and protocol expert, international award-winning author, television show host, and philanthropist. Thank you to Zane, our official diamond sponsor for USA Global TV and Radio in partnership with E360 TV. Zane is the author of The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever, as well as many other children's books. She's also the television host of Elegance, Polished Demeanor, and Posh Living, seen on USA Global TV and Radio.
Hi, my name is Zane Carson Carruth, and I'm the author of this book, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever.
Reading is magic. Studies have shown that reading to your children lays the foundation for greater success in life. Reading helps develop language and vocabulary skills. It helps improve memory, and it encourages curiosity and inspires creativity. The benefits are immeasurable, and as a parent, you'll benefit too. In only 10 or 15 minutes a day, you'll be creating more memories and a bonding experience that will last for years to come. So take time to read to your children. Read them books about things that engage and interest them. Tales of fairies and magic fascinate children, and as everyone knows, the Tooth Fairy is at the top of the list. If your child loves magic, wands, adventure, and what child doesn't, you'll love reading them books from the trademarked series The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever. Follow along as Abella, the world's first tooth fairy, accidentally starts the tooth fairy tradition. Learn the tricks of being a professional tooth fairy in the book Abella Starts a Tooth Fairy School. Your child's imagination will soar as you read the adventures of Abella and her magic wand. These wonderful books are available at worldsfirsttoothfairy.com and at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart.
To learn more about Zane, contact her through her website, zanecarruth.com, ZANECARRUTH.com. Order Zane's books and merchandise. Contact her about being a keynote speaker at your next event.